Um, practice Louisiana. So I'm sure this will be to describe. Today, as part of KWB Keys to Success and orientation, I guess I should say, we're just going to take a deeper dive into kwbresources.com because this is going to be a central hub for a lot of the tools that are available to you through your partnership with us. We are looking at kwbresources.com. Hopefully, it's not the first time that you've seen the site. I know we talk about it briefly when we onboard you. So hopefully, you've been back to this site since then. But of course, if not, I'm happy to take that deeper dive with you today and show you where those wonderful resources live. So on this page, the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to select the new agent button option. And then because you've got your laptop, you're welcome to just sit back and watch as we go, or you're welcome to follow along. Whatever you think would be the best fit for your learning style, absolutely fine with me. I always like to make sure that everybody knows that they are also welcome to ask any questions throughout this entire training session. You don't have to wait until the very end to ask them, so please don't feel like you have to sit on that. And then also know as well that as part of this, you'll realize and recognize through this process that there's several different ways to get to the same information on this website. So I like to make sure that you guys can memorize and hopefully witness the easiest route to that information so that it stays top of mind for you. So when we were first under that new agent section, the very first thing I always point out is this get started option. If you hit learn more, what it will do is it will give you a PDF breakdown of the onboarding process essentially. It's going to point out every single thing that you were responsible for doing in that onboarding process. And it really gives you a great overview of basically who on the leadership team will be reaching out with you in regards to what idea or matter. So this way it makes it a little bit easier to know what to expect with your onboarding. The great news is you've successfully completed that process, so you are already done with that. So now we are actually just going to discuss the things you can do immediately, which sits at the bottom here. The first is that we will go through kwbresources.com together. The second is that we are going to take a look at the office calendar. Joining Ignite is also one that we always recommend, and Ignite for us will launch next on January 8th. We also recommend joining several Facebook groups and pages, and then attending office meetings, which you're already doing by being part of this one here with me. So we are on the right track. Thank you for being here. We are going to actually navigate right back to where we were and return to our new agent tab here. On the right hand side under basic training, there is an option to learn more. If you select learn more under basic training, this is actually going to take you to Scott Leroy Marketing's website. Scott Leroy Marketing, of course, is who created all of your KW technology. They got you your email address, website, they got you access to DocuSign. So you are thoroughly covered through Scott Leroy's help. The great news is, though, they are not just the ones who create all of that initially for you. What they're also offering is that they are a continual resource for you moving forward. So you can reach out to Scott Leroy Marketing for assistance with different conversations regarding your KW technology. You can also actually attend live trainings with Scott Leroy as well. So while we were looking at their website, the first thing I point out while we're looking at it is just that search bar right there is on the right hand side. It's a wonderful tool in case you're ever on this page and are struggling to look for a specific item. Makes it very easy to pull up a lot of information just based off the keywords you provide. The one I always mention to you guys in this conversation is QR codes because I think they're a very helpful tool to feature on your print marketing, but I think a lot of times people may not know how to create a QR code for themselves. In which case, if that is true for you, all you have to do is search QR code in that search field. And what will happen is a little form that you can fill out will appear. And then you can tell them to email the information back to you, specify where this QR code should link. And then what they'll do is within an hour, usually, they will send you that information. They'll give you the QR code via email, and then you can attach it to whatever print marketing you're designing. So they make it very, very easy to request a QR code for free from Scott Leroy Marketing, and it usually comes back to you within the hour. The other couple of things that I will point out on this specific web page, again, out of respect for your time, I don't want to dive too deep just because we could explore here for probably several hours. So I just like to point out two specific things today as we look at this together. The first is up here at the top. You'll see agent resources at the top tab. If you click on that button, it will actually request that you type in our market center number, which you will have seen now several times. But as a reminder, our market center number is 350. And when you type in that number, what will happen is now at the very top section of the page, you'll notice that the Agent Resources tab is now a drop-down menu and not just a button at the top of the page. So up top here, Agent Resources is now a drop-down menu. And what I always encourage is for us to look at the training section together. Under training, you will then see training calendar off to the side here. And then I click on training calendar with you guys today to showcase that they also offer live trainings through Scott Leroy Marketing. And they're Monday through Friday from 1 to 2 o'clock. So when you scroll down here, you'll be able to actually see their Google Calendar. So you have an idea of what training is being offered from 1 to 2 o'clock through Zoom, Monday through Friday. You can click right on that particular event. You'll get an idea of what their focal point is for that class. Today at 1 o'clock, they'll be talking about designs through nurturing your database. So that's going to be a great conversation to have, or I guess I should say nurturing your database through designs. But they'll give you plenty of information as well in regards to that class right there in the description. And then the Zoom link to jump into that live session will be right there as well. So very easy for you guys to make note of what conversations will be happening through Scott Leroy Marketing's live trainings and note whether or not you'd like to participate in them, and then simply hop on that Zoom call just by clicking on that link. So it makes it very easy. I like to point this out for multitudes of reasons. The biggest, of course, is that we know with real estate, you guys actually have the ability to juggle that and actually balance it with other careers, other responsibilities. And what that can result in is just a more complicated schedule. It doesn't mean that you guys are any less prepared to take on your real estate career. It just might be a slightly different schedule. So we want to be respectful of that and recognize that you guys may not always be available to attend the live trainings offered in this office for your KW technology. So here's another route you may take with some additional opportunity to get those training options live, because we do always encourage live participation in training, whether it's in person or through Zoom, just because it gives you tons of opportunity to ask your questions and get them answered. So know that there's a wonderful calendar here that you can jump on and take advantage of. These trainings will be offered to you for free through our partnership with Scott Leroy Marketing. Up towards the top, the other thing, oh, yep, go ahead. Yep. Mhm. You can hop on that Zoom call anywhere you are. And then up at the top, the other thing I always like to point out is the store option in the upper right corner. Store will allow you to actually navigate to agentstore.com. The reason I showcase this in this particular conversation is I think one of the most common questions I tend to get from new agents is always in regards to business cards, name tags, things like that to get you up and running. A common question I do actually get is whether or not business cards are provided in your onboarding process. The unfortunate answer is that they are not provided as part of your onboarding, but we are going to make sure that you have some great connections to get that accomplished on your own time. Agent Store is definitely one of those top tier recommendations. You'll see that they have several options already for business cards and name tags. They also offer additional packages where you can order a tablecloth or a umbrella. They do all different kinds of stuff. Business cards is just usually that first initial conversation. If you are maybe not the most creative when it comes to design elements, and maybe you were just looking like, hey, how can I quickly order these business cards so that I can start talking about my real estate business? By clicking on the business card section there, you'll actually see it will prompt you with just a couple questions when we first enter. The very first is to choose your brand. So you'll say you're with Keller Williams. And then you can specify your market center. You can actually search that 350 number, or you can search Ballantyne, and then you can select our market center. After you've answered both of those questions, you'll see that there's a series of templates available to you for your business cards that are already branded with Keller Williams information. So all you have to do actually is select the template that you prefer and then type in some of your basic information, and it will actually autofill in those sections for you so that you have a completed design very easily. The other reason I like to share Store. Agent Store is not only for the convenience factor, but also because they offer a great price point. I know with inflation, of course, things have definitely changed in the last 3 years. But for me, I was able to get 500 business cards and it only cost $35. So I would expect that, again, very similarly, you'll probably be looking at $35, $40 to get your first round of cards ordered. So it should be very, very convenient, easy, and also inexpensive to do. So like I said, know that they also offer several additional different things you can order, like name tags and things of that nature. But agentstore.com is definitely one of those better suggestions I have for getting started with business cards. If you are a little bit more creative naturally or really want to capitalize on creating a unique brand, you can, of course, go through Canva, Vistaprint, similar platforms like that. But that usually just entails a little bit more design than the basic template would offer you through Agent Store. So entirely up to you on what you're looking for, but Agent Store is definitely an option to keep at the top of your brain. Agentstore.com, Canva, canva.com, and then Vistaprint as well as another. A little bit further down on our new agent page, we do arrive at those Facebook groups that I had mentioned earlier. The first two, I should say, are going to be the ones that are specific to this market center. So the top page, if you're not already part of it, is going to be an internal Facebook group. It is just our agents and our leadership team. So on that page, you will see that we are constantly discussing the different things that are happening in this market center, whether it's a training opportunity, a special event. We are always keeping you guys aware of what's going on in Ballantyne as your leadership team. The other benefit to being part of this page is the conversations and community that you'll build with other agents. So this way you guys are in there and also having the opportunity to converse with agents who are not maybe physically in the office. But I love to see it on there because there's so much collaboration happening just in that private group. If you were to make a post on there just to ask if there was a recommended referral agent based out of, let's say, Syracuse, New York. So if you were looking to try and find somebody out in that area for your clients, but didn't have any connections already made, you could specifically ask that question. And anybody in our office who's worked with a wonderful agent out that way will screenshot their direct contact and provide it for you in the comments section. And it just makes it really easy for you guys to get connected with someone you know you can trust. Similarly, you can ask the same questions with regards to vendors. If you're looking for a vendor that does a specific profession that services a very specific area, maybe it's a little bit further outside of Charlotte, that's a great opportunity for you to get some wonderful recommendations on vendors as well. So we're still under the new agent tab, which is where we started. And then I just scrolled down a little bit further. So if you go to the home tab at the top here, and then you go to new agents, and then you should be able to just scroll just below. You see it? Mm-hmm. And then just scroll down. It should be under the new agent section. So with that Facebook group, I highly encourage your participation in that one because it is going to help connect you to leadership and other agents in this office. Just below there, there's also going to be a Facebook private group dedicated to our vendor partners and also to our leadership team as well as our agents. So the only difference really is that we are taking the initial group that we talked about and we're just adding the fact that this is a private group that also includes our vendor partners. Here at KW Ballantyne, we do partner with a bunch of different wonderful vendors. The amazing thing is that they've actually all been vetted by other KW Ballantyne agents. And so that means that you are also partnering with somebody that you know and can trust in terms of the quality of their product or service, because they have also worked with another KW agent, and that's who encouraged and recommended them to be part of this program. So if, again, especially as a new agent in this office, if you are struggling to figure out who do I contact to get a home inspection for this particular property, who do I contact to take photos of this listing, this is my first time getting a listing, any questions like that, if you don't already have a connection in mind, that's absolutely fine. Everyone starts somewhere. So if you're not quite sure who you can rely on and trust right out of the gate, there are some wonderful suggestions right there on our vendor Facebook group. And it's very simple because you'll see that they are also on there constantly discussing the different products and services they offer. They're talking about different promotions they may be running, any new services that may be starting up freshly in their business. And then the other unique feature with Facebook is, of course, you can hit the search icon that looks like a magnifying glass. And what it will do is it'll allow you to search plumber, for example. And any plumbers that are a part of our vendor program, their pages will then populate within your search, and you can easily scour all of their individual pages from one search to find the best deal for your client. So keep that in mind. That's going to be another great suggestion based off of Valentine specific connections. Below that is the Charlotte Area Realtor Network, which of course will allow you to chatter with other Charlotte agents. They are not specific to Keller Williams. They are not specific to Keller Williams Valentine, but it will help you get connected with other realtors in Charlotte. Below that as well is going to be a KW Carolinas region Facebook group, and that's going to be one I also encourage you guys to join. This will connect you with other Keller Williams agents based out of North and South Carolina. So it's a really easy way for you guys to stay connected with these other agents, for you to build your own referral network of Keller Williams agents within the Carolinas. So you know what, if you don't have access to the Myrtle Beach MLS, you can easily send a referral out to your Myrtle Beach agent that you've made the connection with through that Facebook group. The other unique thing is that KW Carolinas, or the Carolinas region, I should say, offers training events and special events on top of what Valentine offers. So if you were looking to double down and really take advantage of the training offered, you can also attend different trainings through the KW Carolinas region as an agent in the KW office. A little bit further down, we do have access to Kellerisms. Kellerisms, for the sake of time, I will not click on today, but know that it helps to break down the terminology you are hearing within these walls. I know that Keller Williams is known for their wonderful culture, and as part of our culture, we have developed kind of a unique language as well. Most of it should be fairly common sense, and you can probably put a lot of it together on your own, but there may be a term that you hear from time to time that just doesn't really resonate, and you can't quite decipher what they're referring to, in which case, of course, we want you to have the utmost information in terms of what you're hearing. So by clicking on Kellerisms, it'll show you a quick little handout that actually breaks down that terminology into real world definitions. A little bit further down on the page, when referring to the KW technology that's offered, it is always built by KW and for KW, which we love, but also we can have a little bit of a love-hate relationship with it occasionally. When it is built for KW and by KW, what it means is that you are not able to access that information or those platforms if you are not affiliated with KW. So as a new agent to Keller Williams, this is more than likely your first experience with KW Command and similar KW technology. So it's very natural to have questions as you're beginning to navigate this information in these places for the first time. As part of that, we want to make sure you know about the resources you have to help you out with understanding your KW technology. The first we have actually already discussed, which is answers.kw.com. That was a conversation we would have had during your onboarding appointment. And really, it's just to point out that answers.kw.com is going to be a website dedicated to frequently asked questions about commands and similar KW technology. All you have to do is visit that website, tell them what platform you're working with. Hey, I am looking at command right now. And then a search bar will appear. You can specify keywords relative to what you're looking for. If you're having difficulties creating an opportunity for any reason, you could search opportunity, and you will get helpful articles that will appear on ad nauseum. They will just appear, where you can click through all these different articles with screenshots as well for visual that will help you to navigate through what you're looking at. So answers.kw.com is a frequently asked question website about KW Command and similar technology so that you can get your questions answered. There's also a sister website to this. It's called ideas.kw.com, and ideas.kw.com is dedicated to your feedback about KW Command. Because again, with it being built for KW by KW, it's important that we're collecting as much feedback as possible so that this can be the best platform for our agents to use, that it is efficient and very effective. So whenever you have any feedback you'd like to provide, whether it is I love this feature, or maybe it's a little bit more of a constructive criticism of, hey, this is a phenomenal idea, can we also make it available on this other page? They're looking for any and all feedback. Even if you are brand new to real estate, it's important that this is a user-friendly platform. So any suggestions you have as you work through Command, please feel free to provide them to ideas.kw.com, and they are constantly unveiling new updates. So who knows, you very well may see your suggestion come to life. Below, we do have access to Ignite materials. I will send you a digital copy of these in preparation for your first session of Ignite, so don't worry about necessarily downloading them unless you'd like to have them already. Below that, there is access to our training calendar. I will tell you there's a much easier way to get to this information, so I will not click on it here just to save you guys the trouble of memorizing all of these locations. And then towards the bottom, we also have access to conference rooms and how to schedule conference rooms. The easiest way to access this information does not involve so much scrolling and digging. I will let you know that under this More tab in the top right corner, you can see that schedule a conference room exists in the drop down menu. So you never have to go all this far into the scrolling and digging. It just is right there under more, and then there's schedule a conference room. By clicking on that button, it will take you to a secondary website that's called skeda.com. When you visit skeda.com, it's going to ask that you just create a login, and it's very simple. Just usually I suggest use your KW email just to keep it all under one umbrella, but create a login under your KW email, and what it will do is it will give you access to our spreadsheet that basically logs all of the conference rooms and their availability throughout the day. When you're in that particular spreadsheet, at the top, you'll see all the names of our conference rooms because we have 5 different conference rooms in this office. You'll also see the capacity each conference room can hold, so you'll know if it's an appropriate room for you and your group. And then also we have 2 focus rooms that are documented at the top. And those are actually, rather than a conference room, which is intended for more than one person, we also have focus rooms, and those are just independent workspaces. That way you have some privacy if you'd prefer to do cold calling. And that way our conference rooms can stick to being reserved for collaborative efforts, whether it's with you and another agent, meeting with a client, meeting with a coach. Any of those efforts that involve more than one party are great for conference rooms, and we're happy to acquiesce and give you guys some privacy and a space that you guys can have those conversations in this office. All of these rooms are available to you for free as a reservation. All you have to do is just drag and drop on that spreadsheet anywhere you see a vacancy, and you guys can book the rooms for up to 2 hours in a day. We ask that you keep it to the 2-hour minimum just to make sure, or maximum, just to make sure that those resources are on rotation for other agents as well. And you guys are welcome to book them freely every single day if you'd like. But that way it just helps to make sure those resources are constantly available, and that way you guys can take advantage of them whenever you like. If you ever have any difficulty booking a conference room using the Skeda website, please let me know because I am an admin on that page, so I can go in on the back end and help you guys out. So keep me privy to any difficulties you may experience there. I'm happy to assist. But then just coming back right now to our homepage here, all of that, we were just looking at our new agent tab. So as we scroll down a little bit further, I do like to point out that we also feature our leadership team. Most of you guys did receive a copy of our staff directory in that little packet you received from me when we met. But as a reminder, here are all the wonderful members of our leadership team. Here are the roles that each of them serve. So that makes it a little bit easier to know who to direct a specific question to, or who to maybe schedule a meeting with it from time to time. And then we also have their email addresses posted there, so it's very easy for you to reach out to any one of us with any questions you may have. As we scroll a little bit further down, there are also some suggested videos that we do keep pinned right here on the homepage because we find that they're the most frequently asked for videos. Both of these pertain to your KW command accounts and your DocuSign information, more specifically just how to get paid, essentially. So we want to make sure that that information stays in front of you no matter when your first transaction may be. Both of these videos were done by Leah, who is one of our tech coordinators. The bottom of the 2 videos right here is a 25-minute overview of Command and DocuSign. You have access to both through different accounts that have been created for you through your onboarding. These 2 accounts are not already linked together. You will need to log into your Command account and your DocuSign account and make sure the 2 get linked. That's not something that's already done. With that in mind, it's very, very simple. It's a quick and easy, you just have to enter your NERDS number into the settings in your DocuSign account. But there's a step-by-step process in terms of, in this video, in terms of how to go about doing that. It makes it very easy, and that way you guys can ensure that both of your accounts are communicating properly, so that when you have your first transaction, you have one less thing to worry about and you are already set up for success. The second video that you see here, just above that, is the newer of the two videos. This one is how to create a commission request or how to submit a commission request in Command. So anytime you guys go under contract on a property, you guys should be submitting commission requests. That way our MCA, Miss Lynn Davis, can be aware that you guys have a closing that you're anticipating. She can be ready to process that check as soon as that closing has happened and you've dropped it off at the office. So there are tons of different ways to go about obviously getting your check to the office, whether you have it mailed, whether you have it wired, or you physically drop it off. But assuming that all of your documents and your opportunity have been approved by Carla, our compliance coordinator, saying that all your files look good, and then you've also submitted your commission request that's been approved by Lynn, then as soon as that check makes its way to our office, we can then process your payment and schedule it to direct deposit into your account for the next business day. So please do watch that video. Again, it's going to walk you through how to submit that commission request in Command when the time comes that you've gone under contract on your first property. A little bit further down, we do eventually arrive at our office training calendar. We have actually looked at this together before. If you recall, I think the easiest way to visually see what's on our calendar is by clicking here for a full calendar view. It's actually in the text just above that visual, and this will open it up into our entire Google Drive or Google Calendar. So this way you guys can see everything that's going on in the market center at any given point in time. It makes it very easy to visualize and then understand also what is going on when you guys have availability in your own schedules. So by looking at our calendar, you should be able to click on any particular event you see to get a full description regarding that event. Anything that is in person that does not require registration, it will specify no registration is necessary. Anything that is in person that you do need to register for, you will see there is either an Eventbrite or a Sign Up Genius that is always included in that description. That way you guys can make sure your seat is reserved and we can anticipate your arrival. Then anything that's available to you through Zoom at all, whether it's only a Zoom class or a Zoom and in-person class, the Zoom link is also always featured in the description of the event. This way, no matter what time you guys are reviewing the calendar, even if it's late at night or over the weekend, you will have plenty of information right in front of you that you can review before deciding whether or not you'd like to register for the class or add it to your calendar. If you guys have any questions as you're looking things over, please let me know. But as a general rule of thumb, now that you are an agent in this office, you are free to join us for anything and everything that sounds exciting to you or beneficial to you in a personal or professional way. We would love to have you in the room. So please do pay attention to what's happening on the calendar. We would love to have your participation in anything and everything. And then let me know if you've got any questions along the way. The only other helpful tool I like to point out for those of us who like to stay organized is the Add to Google Calendar option in the bottom left. If you select that button, it'll actually copy this entire Google Calendar directly onto your Google Calendar. And that way you can see down here on the left-hand side, I've got them all selected so I can see all of them. But if at any point the Market Center calendar gets a little bit overwhelming, I can turn it off and then I'm only looking at what's on my personal calendar. It makes it a little bit easier to keep track of what's going on in my personal world, but then I can also very easily turn back on the calendar and see what's going on in the Market Center so that I can benefit from the trainings being offered whenever I have the availability. So very, very helpful way to copy this calendar directly onto yours, and that way it's one less step to recall going back to KWB resources every single time you want to see what's going on. So it makes it a little bit easier to keep that info right in front of you in a place that's very convenient. So I'll take us right back now, closing out of both of those calendars and just bringing us back to KWB resources. You will see again our office calendar widget. A little bit below that, you will also see that we've got some upcoming events. These are really just highlighting some of the recurring meetings that are offered here in this office, giving you guys a little bit more information about each of them in case you were not already privy. The ALC meetings that we hold are offered on the third Tuesday of every month at 11 a.m. Don't expect anyone to memorize that information because you'll see it on the calendar. But our ALC meetings are our Agent Leadership Council. So these are top producing agents in our office who volunteered a bit of their additional time to serve the different committees in our Market Center to make sure that Ballantyne is constantly the best place to call home. So we want to make sure that your opinions, that your preferences are always being accounted for. So we actually have our Agent Leadership Council, our ALC, make a lot of the decisions with us. We do not unilaterally make many decisions as your leadership team without consulting our agent body, and they are your representatives. So they want to know what your preferences are, they want your voices to be heard, and they are happy to express those voices for you. So ALC meetings is when everyone gets together so that you can hear some of those great decisions that they're implementing. And you guys can also hear just a top level mastermind about what these top producing agents are seeing in their businesses and how they're navigating throughout the year. Team meetings are the second and fourth Tuesday of every month, and those are really just high energy. We have a lot of fun. We all get together right here in the training room, and we recap really what happened in the previous month or previous couple of weeks and what to expect in the next. We are welcoming new agents. We are congratulating top performing agents. We are discussing the upcoming trainings and events. We're getting updates from our BIC associate, from our tech coordinators, from our ALC. So there's tons of great information being shared that you can kind of get a good snapshot of what to expect at KWB. And then we're just, like I said, having tons of fun. We even go so far as to invite some of our vendor partners to join us for these. So right here in the hub outside of these doors is going to be a vendor fair. So if you were interested again in getting connected to several different vendors to have, you guys can walk right out the doors at the end of team meeting and go kind of mingle with those vendors and get to know them and their businesses a bit better. And they're all going to be on that Google Calendar. This is just kind of recapping more specifically what they entail. And then Tech Tuesdays, pretty self-explanatory there. Those are going to be offered Tuesday of every single week from 1 to 2 o'clock. Jules and Leah are speaking to you guys about your KW technology, about marketing strategies in general, and they are going over all of that with you every single week for 1 hour, taking the additional half hour at the end there just to answer any questions you guys may have. But these are hands-on workshop style experiences. Bring in your laptop, and they will help to make sure that you guys are proficient and thoroughly understanding all your KW technology so that you can maximize the capabilities offered through it. And the Tech Tuesdays specifically are going to be more geared towards our new agents, so it'll be the perfect room for anybody that's available and interested in attending. Tuesdays are going to be the day usually. There's definitely a lot that's offered outside of just Tuesdays, but Tuesdays is going to be a good day to be in the office because there will be team meetings and then always followed by a Tech Tuesday, if nothing else. There's usually plenty of excitement though to go around. Below our calendar, just to introduce, if you've not already seen, we do have our BIC and our BIC associates information. Our wonderful BIC, Miss Sabra, has been with us for over 20 years. She is a phenomenal resource to this market center and to our agents. Tasha Viney has also been with our company for definitely over a decade. I could not tell you if it was 15 years quite, but over a decade, Tasha's been here, and she's really become Sabra's right hand in terms of her knowledge, her experience, her expertise. So she's here to assist you just as much as Sabra. And honestly, I always tell you guys, a lot of the questions you'd ask Sabra can be directed to Tasha initially. And if Tasha does not have the answer or is not aware of it, she is able to then refer back to Sabra and get some more guidance on that particular situation or transaction. For the most part, Tasha is here to help you just like Sabra. The reason I like to make sure you guys are aware of both of them is because Sabra, while yes, functioning as our broker in charge, she's just not physically in the office as much. So Tasha is here 3 days a week. Her office hours are right there underneath her contact information. So you are able to stop by and pop in to talk to Tasha anytime you need. And then below that, you will also see just some information about renewing your license. Again, a very common ask of new thankfully, because it's January, you have plenty of time now between this and June to get everything squared away if you have any renewal requirements. But if you would like to make sure that you are all good, all your ducks are in a row before renewal period, that is going to be the best place to visit to find charts and helpful information as to review where you're at with that process. Underneath, now that we've spoken a little bit more about our ALC, our Agent Leadership Council, you will see all of the wonderful individuals here that are functioning as different members of our ALC for the new year, now that it is officially 2025. You'll see all of these wonderful individuals. They're actually getting together on Monday to have a clinic together where they will each decide on the different committees that they'd like to represent for the year. So we've got a variety of committees, some focusing specifically on the trainings and opportunities that are brought into the office, some focusing just on our agents, their happiness, their liveliness, and really how we can make sure that, again, Valentine is the best place to call home. We've got another committee that focuses on our special events, fun parties, things like that. They also represent a lot of times our charitable arm. So there's a ton of different committees that these agents will inevitably choose to serve for the incoming year. So you will get to see that update in real time on the website once we've got a selection for each of them. And then you know who to direct specific questions to or specific conversations. Each of them will also meet with their specific committees once a month so that you can be part of those conversations as well if you'd like to have a more intimate involvement with them. A little bit further down, we do come across our wonderful productivity coaches. So we always say that as Valentine, rather than having one specific mentor, we have two pillars of mentorship. The first is going to be a productivity coach. So a productivity coach is here to help you guys out in your first year of real estate, especially. Not only are you guys oftentimes tackling a new industry, but you are also becoming a business owner. If you were not already, that might be the first for you. That's a lot of undertaking, and we want to make sure that you've got the best cheerleader and advocate in your corner, here really dedicating themselves to your success. So while these are all top producing agents with functions, they're also, again, volunteering some of their additional time to support you in that critical first year, making sure that you guys are doing all the right things and setting yourself up for success in your real estate business moving forward. So every single week, you will meet with your coach and a couple other agents. Usually it's a more intimate group setting. And you guys will be having different conversations throughout the year. Some will be on mindset, some will be on lead generation, some will be script practice, some will be in regards to just kind of getting to know where your goals are at, goal setting, helping to hold you accountable to each of those goals throughout the year to make sure that we've hit your measure of success in that. Rely and lean into your coach. They are here to make sure that you are doing well and to make sure you are headed in the right direction for a successful real estate career. If you have not yet been connected with your coach, Lynn Davis usually sends you an email regarding connecting you with a coach. It should go to your Keller Williams email address, and it will be asking you essentially of the available meeting times for each of these coaches, what works best for your schedule on a regular basis. Whatever your reply to that email is, she will make sure you are getting connected with that coach. So if you have not seen that email come through from Lynn, I would recommend going back through your email to make sure you did not receive something from her already. If you have, respond to it at your convenience. If you have not or do not see that email from Lynn, please let me know or email Lynn directly in regards to getting connected to a coach. Either of us can assist you there. Lynn Davis. So if you go back up to the top here, her information is right here. Your Keller Williams email address. So it's a Gmail account. Yep. So go to gmail.com because in that Keller Williams email address is going to be essentially all communication coming from the office moving forward. Once you get the KW email assigned to you, that becomes your primary form of contact for us. So you can find most communications right there in that inbox. Gmail.com, and then you can log in with the email that Scott sent to you because that is going to be your information in your login. If you cannot find the email from Scott Marketing containing all of your login information, just let me know. Class today, I can go back to my desk and I can forward it over to you. So it's right at the top. But know to look out for that email for your productivity coach. Very similarly, we also have transaction partners, which make up the second pillar of mentorship in your real estate career, and KW Valentine. And your transaction partner, again, just like your coach, they're meeting every single week with you guys. They're also meeting with with a couple other agents, again, very intimate group setting. But you guys are going to be discussing the contracts and forms. You are chunking them down into a 12-week curriculum that you can continue to take time after time after time. And the first half of it will be focused on buyers. The second half of it will be focused on listing, vice versa. But 6 weeks will be dedicated to each side of the transaction. And that way you guys have a very thorough understanding of how to complete the contracts and forms that you are responsible for on behalf of your clients. Makes it very easy for you to then feel confident when conveying their importance, their significance, and how to complete them to your clients. And then that makes it one step easier when you go to everything for thorough review because our compliance coordinator will be making sure everything looks good. But your transaction partner is going to be the first step in making sure you guys have a great foundation to know how to fill all that information in. Again, it just makes those first few transactions a little bit easier because we know it's not muscle memory just yet. So we want to make sure you have the utmost information to guarantee your success. So very similar to your coach, I actually send you guys an email also to your Keller Williams email address. And I also ask you guys all of the available meeting times for our transaction partners, which works best for your schedule on a regular basis. Whatever your reply to that email is then the group that I get you assigned to and the connection I make with you via email to your partner. On the lookout for that email. I do send that email as soon as you guys have a KW email assigned to you. So it should be very, very early into your emails in that Keller Williams email address. If you've not seen this email from me, just like I said with the coaches, you guys are welcome to shoot me an email. I'll send it to you again, and we'll make sure that that connection is established because these are going to be two great resources to have to make sure that you guys have the information you need to succeed, especially for those first transactions. The bottom of our homepage here, we do stumble across helpful resources and some frequently used sites. All of these informations and tools are available to you at the top here. So I'm not going to dive too deep. We're just going to head back up to the top of our page. So we've now gone through our homepage. The next tab we take a look at today is the FAQ tab, which is just to the right of our home tab. And that's really just to give you guys a general rule of thumb or idea of different questions that are common that come up to us through our agents, especially as you guys are first getting acclimated. And the best part about this page is if you're not quite sure what some of our roles entail on leadership, you're not quite sure who to go to for a specific question, here's a general idea of what questions may come up and who handles that responsibility. You'll see the general question listed, and then if you just hover your mouse over that tile, it will turn color, and you'll see who on leadership handles that responsibility. So it makes it a little bit easier for you guys to get connected with the right person in regards to your question. If you're not quite sure who to ask a particular question to, because as you review these tiles, you're like, all right, there's only 10 tiles. My question's not really touched on. In the event that you're not sure who to direct your question to, you guys can always, always, always send it to me. And then I'm happy to make sure that it gets to the right person so that you guys can get an answer to your question. So again, frequently asked questions tab here is going to make it a little bit easier for you to get an idea of who handles what responsibilities on our leadership team so you know who to reach out to about a particular question. The next tab that we look at is the on-demand training tab up at the top. If you select on-demand training, it's actually going to be a password protected tab. The password for this tab is very, very similar to our Wi-Fi password. The only difference is that this particular password does not feature the exclamation point. So the password actually happens to be listed over there on the left-hand whiteboard. If you want to write it down, it's going to be that exact password, just no exclamation point. So this one is only going to be capital B, lowercase AMC 350. That's going to be the password for this particular site. When we enter in, you're going to see some different opportunities under on-demand training. I love to share this tab with you guys, especially if you do have a more complex schedule. We like to make sure that you know, again, all the resources available to you, despite maybe not having the same availability as a full-time agent. So under on-demand training, on the left-hand side, you'll see the on-demand button. If we select this on-demand button, this will actually take us to our Keller Williams Valentine YouTube channel. The reason I like to share this with you guys is because it does cover a lot of great information. And really, it's a recap of any meeting of our recurring that we might have missed. So what you'll notice, first and foremost, this is not every single training that is offered within these walls. This is going to be very specific trainings that are offered, typically speaking, those recurring meetings. And if you scroll down under created playlists in this bottom section, you can see what classes get posted here. If it's not something that's in these playlists, then it is not something that will be posted to this YouTube channel. These recordings come from basically the Zoom meeting. It has a recording attached to it. I can then download the recording and upload it here so that if you are not able to participate in a particular training event or a meeting live, you can come back to the YouTube channel here and then review it at a time that works better for your schedule. We like to do this again in case you have a more complex schedule. If you juggle multiple jobs or careers, we want to make sure you have the flexibility to get this information when it works well for you. But secondly, we also like to make sure that this information is available because we know that life happens. You are able to travel, you're able to go on vacations. It's okay if you get sick. It's okay if you have to run away to go help out with kiddos for a little bit. Whatever that may look like for you, it's okay when life happens. We don't want you to think that that means you absolutely unequivocally have to miss out on information. So again, you'll find down here that we are posting recordings from our Tech Tuesdays, recordings from marketing masterminds that are offered. We got our team meeting recordings, how to get paid faster, different trainings like that that exist right here on this particular site as soon as that recording has been successfully uploaded to the cloud. The other couple things I will mention while we're looking at this YouTube channel, the first is that YouTube, being just any other platform and AI technology, YouTube occasionally will try to reject the recording I try to upload, in which case I cannot override YouTube, unfortunately. There are things that I'm not able to publish to this site. It does not mean that I don't have that recording. So in the event that you're looking for something specific and you don't see it on here, just send me an email, stop by my office. I'd be happy to still pull that recording if I can for you and make sure that it's available for your review, even though it doesn't exist on this site. I usually will be uploading the recordings a week and a half after the particular event. So you have an idea of when to expect different information to get posted here. Obviously, occasionally I may fall a little bit behind. So I do try to go through a successful dump of just all the recordings I can when I have the opportunity. But again, if you're noticing something's not on here that you're looking for, just shoot me an email. The other thing I always mention is, again, just to reiterate, this is not every training that's offered. These are a select few trainings that get published here. And the reason for that is not to inconvenience you. It is strictly to make it so that it is possible for you guys to be in as many trainings live as possible. We want you guys to either be sitting here in the room, in our training room with us, or we want you guys to be live on a Zoom call with us. And that's not to inconvenience you. It's strictly to make sure that you have the opportunity to get your questions answered in real time. There is nothing worse to me than when I sit through an entire YouTube video and I'm like, great, I just got so much information, but I have like 4 questions that I need some clarification on. And then I don't have one that I can directly ask, or I have to sit and wait and remember those questions to then bring back to the office the next time I'm there. So in order to avoid all of that, we do prefer, again, that you are in the room in person or physically in person, sorry, or remotely participating through Zoom, so you can get this information in real time and get your questions answered in real time as well. There is a YouTube channel for Keller Williams Ballantyne right here. On the right-hand side, very similarly, we also have a YouTube channel from Stockboy Marketing. We have actually already looked at this together before. This was something we reviewed during our onboarding appointment because you guys also were sent this information from Scott Leroy directly. But again, as a reminder, Scott Leroy Marketing not only offers live trainings Monday through Friday for your KW technology, they're also uploading their recordings as well to their YouTube channel. So again, if your schedule is a little more complicated, maybe you were just out sick, it is that time of year, that's okay. We don't want you to miss out on the information. So you can always refer to their YouTube channel. They are covering every single thing that you're working with as KW Technology, whether the video is just a couple minutes long or it's a full-length training, there's tons of info out here for you. So please do review it. Again, Jules and Leah are rotating their topics regularly. Every single week, they're talking about something different. So if you're realizing that they're going to talk about smart plans this week and you really, really, really wanted to talk about Facebook ads with them and you weren't able to book your one-on-one appointment, that doesn't mean that you have to wait for 2 more weeks to talk about Facebook ads with them. It means that you can actually return back to Scott Leroy Marketing's YouTube channel or even Jules and Leah's through our KW YouTube channel and see if there's a recording already out there of that information so that you guys can access it when it works well for your schedules. So I'm going to close out of their YouTube channel. So both of these YouTube channels exist, all specific to training opportunities. A little bit further down, we also have the same videos Leah had posted to the front page we looked at are also available here. And then just a little bit more information about Ignite. Again, if you guys have a more complex schedule, our Ignite is offered in person in this office Monday through Friday from 9 to noon. It's a wonderful opportunity to lay the foundation for your real estate career. And it's actually taught by top producing agents in this office, which is a great way to get connections and also to get tips from people who've actually experienced the Charlotte market this day and age. It's a great resource through just our Ignite program alone. But I always also try to mention that we have Ignite After Dark as well. It is not offered through this office. It is going to be a Zoom session that's offered on a national level for Keller Williams. But if you have more complex schedules and you will not be able to make it in person Monday through Friday from 9 to noon to participate in Ignite, that's okay. I'd love to send you information on Ignite After Dark so that you guys can attend a once a week Zoom session on Tuesday evenings to get Ignite information. So just shoot me an email, stop by my office, or give me a call. Let me know if that's something I can share with you at any point. Be that avenue to explore. I just got to know that you need it. So keep me in mind when it comes to Ignite as well. The other tab we're going to look at now is office resources. Before we actually click on that tab, I do like to just hover here because I want to give you guys an opportunity to look at some of those drop down menu items. The top three, I just feel like are always easier to get to from this drop down menu than if we were to like click into the actual tab. So when we're looking at office resources drop down here, the first option is advertising guidelines. When it comes to your advertising guidelines, clicking on that will give you access to a manual essentially or a document that summarizes a lot of the requirements of your advertising and also the limitations of your advertising. So if you were wondering what can I do or more importantly, what can I not do in marketing, advertising guidelines is going to be a great resource that will cover a lot of that information. You can also visit advertising guidelines because within it you will find access to different logo files. So if you want the Keller Williams Valentine logo on a flyer, on your business card, and it's not already, you can find logo files right there as well. The important thing to know with advertising guidelines is provisional brokers, you guys usually do have a slightly more strict marketing requirements and limitations, I guess I should say. So when it comes to provisional brokers, absolutely be referencing your advertising guidelines here. When it comes to your business cards, you should actually be going one step even further. You should be consulting with Tasha to make sure your design is approved before you order anything. And the reason for that is to make sure that you are not spending money on something that you can't use. You don't want anyone to go to real estate jail over business. So advertising guidelines is there as you become broker status after completing your post licensing. Get a little bit more freedom with what you can do with your marketing, but it still may be helpful to have a rough guide. So refer back to that as often as necessary. Ask specific questions to Tasha whenever they come up. Below that is a concession request. We know that every transaction there's an opportunity where a concession letter may be necessary. So if you are in a transaction where you do need to ask for a concession letter to be issued, the process is very simple. I know for a lot of us this may be complicated for a little bit further down the line, but if you do ever need a concession letter, all you have to do is click the concession request option. It'll take you, actually, I'll show you just for a second here. It'll take you to a Google form. All you have to do is answer each of these questions and basically give more information and context to the particular transaction. And then when you've answered all of those questions, all you have to do is hit submit. That letter then gets, or this particular response that you filled out then gets emailed directly to Tasha, and Tasha can pick up your letter and send it to you right away. The reason that we go through the Google form rather than you guys talking to her initially is just because what she found was that oftentimes it just about half the information she needed at the first conversation, and then she'd have to go back to you guys with questions and then get more information back and forth and back and forth, and it just delayed the process of getting that letter to you. So rather than slow things down, she figured that it would be easier if she gave you a preliminary baseline question to answer, and that way she collects all the information she needs before ever issuing the letter. So this way, again, very simple. All you have to do is complete this form, submit it, and then the Tasha can get you the message. Concession letters are like for specific transactions where it's not just a cut and dry. It's like if you were, as the agent, if you chose to pay for the home warranty for the buyer as part, like, and take it out of your commission, that's when you would do a concession letter. So similar kind of where there's this tiny little thing that's a little bit different, usually with your compensation more than anything, that needs to be disclosed to the firm that way you know how to allocate funds and know what to expect. So if you ever choose to do something like that or similar, then you will request a concession letter by filling out that form. There's also do not call list. That's usually one you guys are at least familiar with as agents from real estate school. Do not call list, of course, is really telling you who not to contact because they specifically ask you not to contact them. So rather than put you guys at risk for thousands of dollars in fines and also out, because that doesn't sound fun at all, we want to make sure you know exactly who is on that list so you do not call the wrong person. So by clicking on do not call list, which is actually just one step below, by clicking on do not call list, it will take you to step-by-step instructions on what you need to do in order to register to have access to this list. That way you know who not to contact because they are on that list. So click on do not call list. It will give you step-by-step instructions on what you need to do in order to get access to that information. Access the do not call list. There we go. Now coming back over to office resources, I will click on the tab officially just because the other two options are a little easier from within the tab. But it's going to ask you again for your password is the same as it was on the previous tab. So it's capital B, lowercase a, m, c, 350. Once we are inside of this tab, I do like to share with you guys just a few things. On the left-hand side here for North Carolina licensed agents, if you select Get Forms, this is going to take you to a Google Drive folder that's comprised of documents, all relative to Keller Williams Ballantyne. So these are firm-specific documents that you will be needing for different transactions along the way. I will tell you right now, and I always try to say this initially, this is not your state contracts and forms. This is not going to be all of the things that are populating already in your DocuSign, or if you prefer zip forms, which is offered through Canopy Matrix, you can get them that way. But if you guys are looking for specific forms necessary for this firm, whether it's a referral agreement, working with real estate agents, a W-9 if you guys are doing referrals, whether we're talking about disclosures for different partnerships we have with title companies, if we're talking about septic and sewer, different things like that. All of that information exists right here in this Google Drive folder. Sabre actually put this together to make life easier for you guys because she felt that she was, again, causing a little bit additional delay. If you guys would email her and ask for this information and she wasn't able to get it to you right there in that minute, she didn't like the idea that she was kind of holding you up. So she wanted to make sure that this information was available and accessible on demand. So if you guys need any of these contracts or sorry, any of these documents, moving forward, this is where you can find them. Again, KW Ballantyne specific. If you're looking for state contracts and forms, those are going to be in your DocuSign or your Zip Forms account, which is through Canopy. So between the two resources, between this Google Drive folder and your DocuSign/Zip Forms accounts, you guys will have access to everything you need. If you start in one location, say we started in this Google Drive folder and we're missing stuff, we can't find what we're looking for, we go back to our DocuSign. If we started out in our DocuSign and we're missing specific contracts and forms or documents that we're looking for, then come to this Google Drive folder. Between the two resources, you guys should have everything you need to succeed. And that's going to be your North Carolina specific office forms. If you guys become South Carolina licensed at any point in time, you can find the exact same forms for South Carolina on the right-hand side. In this middle section here under office checklist, if you select get checklist, what this is another Google Drive folder that Sabre put together, and it highlights what you guys are responsible for on any given side of the transaction for North or South Carolina. Because again, reiterating that it's not muscle memory for those first few transactions, we don't want that to stand in anyone's way of going in confident and feeling very comfortable with that first deal. So in effort to help you guys out, Sabre has outlined everything you're responsible for that specific transaction. Any responsibilities, any timelines associated with those, all of that is outlined right here on one handy sheet so that you guys can make sure you've covered every single base and you can have a smooth closing. So again, she's covered every single transaction you could have. So just pay attention. The title of the form will specify which particular transaction that would be for, whether it's the state or the side. So know that all exists again and in additional Google Drive folder. If you do not feel you need those checklists, if you do not think that you'd benefit from the checklist, don't worry about them. They are specifically here as a tool and resource if they would be of help to you. Below that section at the top here that we reviewed all of those Google Drive folders, we do have access to the CE Shop. The CE Shop is going to be one of two real estate education sources that we partner with for education. So the CE Shop is really unique because what they offer is self-paced learning. It's all done online, very easily done, but it's all going to be self-paced. And you're not limited to just the Eastern Seaboard. You guys can actually go on and see all of the different states that you can get some of this education for. So if maybe you're not here, or if you're not from the Carolinas originally, maybe you're from further west and you'd like to get your real estate license out that way, you absolutely can if that's a dream of yours. You can do it through the CE Shop. So the cool thing about the CE Shop, through our partnership with them, we do have access to discounts. The CE Shop discount actually fluctuates regularly, and they do flash one-day sales. Usually when they're doing those flash one-day sales, those are going live on Wednesdays a lot of times. So what happens is I actually am given the information ahead of the sale. I will make a post to our Facebook group about it, and I will give you guys the code that you need in order to take advantage of whatever that flash sale is. I know this just recently for New Year's, they did 50% off. So they are constantly offering some really great deals. The other unique feature that I like to point out about the CE Shop is the free trial opportunity. Self-paced learning, from what I understand, is either a big win for people or a big loss. It either seems like it's a great fit for people's learning styles or it's a terrible fit. So depending on where you fall in that spectrum, if you've not yet tried self-paced, but you've always kind of wondered whether or not it would work for you, maybe it'd be a better fit for your schedule. If you guys are dabbling with that idea, there is a free trial option through the CE Shop where you guys can experience self-paced learning for 1 week for free. So if you love it by the end of that 1 week trial, and you want to continue with the course, you can pop in your credit card information, pay for the remainder of the course, and move forward. If you hated it and it was a crash and burn experience, you guys get to walk away with no consequence for having done that. So it makes it really easy for then you to say, you know what, I do want to go through Superior. Actually, I want a live training class, and it's great to know that performance will not impact your ability to succeed in the Superior class. So scrolling through their website, you will see some of the packages that they offer. They're outlined there. They even go so far as to exemplify what the discount running will offer and do to that particular code, or to that particular price point. Sorry. And then the other thing I always point out as we go further is if we scroll, this did used to be at the top, so it was a lot easier to get to before. But I always like to point out under this little category here called Agent Essentials, there is a section called Hot Topics. It's very, very small print, so I apologize. But if you click on Hot Topics, it takes you to a library that's dedicated to ebooks, podcasts, blogs, and videos, all regarding real estate. So this is a really cool tool because not only is it something you guys can glean information from, whether it's informative, very helpful market analysis pieces, or whether it is more lighthearted, just entertainment pieces for you as the real estate agent. Not only is it something for you, it's also something you can share. So it's something you can share with your sphere, with your database, on social media. The reason I like to point this out specifically is actually with regard to that concept. I know that I am not the expert when it comes to marketing through social media. That's going to be Jules and Leah. That it is a very popular tool because it's inexpensive and it's got no limit to its outreach when it comes to social media. So it's an inexpensive and limitless form of marketing. The reason I like to give you guys this information regarding your social media marketing, is because there's two things that I do know about it. The first is that it's important to make sure you're posting something regularly, almost every single day, if not every single day. We want to make sure that that page is constantly staying active. It is guaranteeing new traffic every single day. It's keeping your name in front of your sphere. Very important that you guys are keeping an active presence on social media. The other thing that I know about social media marketing is that it's very important to make sure you're diversifying the content you're sharing. Don't be posting the same boring thing every single day, or eventually the algorithms of Facebook and Instagram will say, actually, nobody has liked it. Nobody wants to see it. We're not showing it to them. And they will actually kind of hide your posts in a way from other people, which is unfortunate. It's one of the things I don't like about social media. But in an effort to help you guys to achieve both the diverse content and the requirement of posting regularly, it's difficult to generate original content like that as often as you should. So in order to make life easier, you guys can now refer to the hot topic section, copy and paste the link to the hot topic you'd like to share and post directly to your Facebook. And then people in your sphere, in your database, following you on these platforms can see the link to this wonderful real estate market trends blog that you shared, and they can go look at it for themselves. It also, again, is meeting that diversified feed threshold. So what's going to happen is that new traffic may come to your page just because of what you posted. So keep that in mind. Again, if social media marketing is going to be a prominent tool for you in your business, this is going to be a really great resource to have in your back pocket so that you guys can hit kind of an easy button on those days that it's just a little bit more difficult to come up with a fresh idea. That's going to be your easy button all through the CE shop. Underneath that, again, still under our office resources here, we do come across our floor plan. So feel free to refer to that if necessary. I would say 9 times out of 10, most agents don't even refer to that one time, and that's okay. At the bottom, though, there are going to be some numbers to know, and these are going to be numbers that you're probably not asked for as frequently, so they might not stay as top of mind for you, but definitely important to know what they are. So if you guys are going on to get your South Carolina license, congratulations that. Now we just need to actually fill out this piece of paper to get the license number issued. You will be asked on that piece of paper for your firm license number. So our South Carolina firm license number is included here. When we're working with referrals and we need to have access to our federal tax ID, that information is also included here. Our MLS number for the firm is right there as well. So very rarely these numbers may come up for you, or I should say maybe just less frequently. But it's still very important that you have access to this information. So these numbers live right here in the office resources section, just towards the bottom. And if you forget where to find this information, just shoot me an email. I'm happy to guide you right back to it. Our office calendar we have looked at already, but if we just click on that tab there, it does all of the work for us, which is my favorite part. It will take us exactly where we want to go. And then under tech resources, most of which we've talked about already, this is just going to be a drop-down menu that centralizes a lot of the tech-specific resources we've looked at today. The next thing I will mention is just a few talking pieces under the More tab here. The first is the ALC meeting minutes. If you miss out on those ALC meetings this year where they are talking about the bigger decisions to implement for Valentine or those mastermind conversations for top level producing agents, you want to know what out on. These meetings are only offered in person. We actually do take meeting minutes and then we upload them to a Google Drive folder. So if you miss any of those meetings but would like to refer back to what happened in it, you are welcome to do so. Below that, the prayer request form have that there is actually really just talking to me to reiterate that as a part of our office, from the moment you walked in the door, you have been considered part of our family, and we take that very seriously and mean it very sincerely. So if there's ever anything going on in your world, please let us know so that we can do our part to best support you as a part of your family. We would love to do anything and everything we can for you, whether that's just giving you a hug in the hallway, asking how you are doing, if that's sending you a card, or if that is checking in on you regularly to see what's going on. Let us know what we can do to help you guys out. We are here to support you everywhere we can. So please keep us privy to what's going on. Below that is KW Perks. This is a conversation regarding insurance. Again, if you're new to independent contracting, maybe this is the first time you've not had insurance through your employer. It's unfortunate. We don't love that. But when you are looking for an insurance policy or trying to find coverage for you, yourself, your family, you guys can check out KW Perks. I believe that Keller Williams is now partnered with Kaplan. Had been Capstone Financial. But this way you guys can search the insurance marketplace for different policies and plans that will work for you and your loved ones. And then the great thing is that agents are saving through this partnership. So you guys will save more than 10%. 9 times out of 10, I would say that seems to be the average, is over 10% agents are saving on their policies. So keep it in mind if insurance is at all a concern of yours, or maybe you just want to see if there's something better out there for you. Definitely check it out. It's available to you as a tool. Scheduling conference rooms we've talked about. Below that is KWB firm exclusive listings. Over time, this will eventually probably become an obsolete resource because it should be getting integrated into Command, but that's a little bit, maybe a few days away for right now. So one of the unique things about KWB that you may notice is that as you're especially on those Facebook groups, some of our agents will take listings take listings, they don't necessarily put them on MLS right away. They actually let them kind of float as a KW Ballantyne firm exclusive listing for a set period of time, because they only want to work with our agents or because they want to give you guys first dibs on the property for your clients. So with that being said, since they are offered exclusively to this firm, they're not going to be on MLS for that time period. Meaning that if you're endlessly scouring MLS for something that meets the client's criteria and you're not finding it, one of my biggest suggestions is come back to KWB Firm Exclusive Listings, the live document that Sabra is updating as people submit paperwork regarding taking a firm exclusive listing. What she's posting on there is all the information about the property. She's giving you the information about the listing agent too, so you can contact them for more information or schedule a showing. So it makes it really easy for you guys to have full access to the info regarding that property. So that if, again, you're struggling to find something that works well for your clients on MLS, there very well may be a property perfect for them right here in exclusive listings. So a great way for you guys to stay on top of that and provide additional resource and just value to your clients. Below that is strategic vendor partners. This is actually, again, a live spreadsheet here. If we click on this particular spreadsheet, this is going to house all of our vendors. So again, if maybe we're just not the biggest Facebook user, or I just forgot to join that Facebook group with all our vendor partners, but I am struggling to come up with a new home construction company that my clients can use for custom builds. Anything like that. Maybe it's a HVAC technician, anything like that, guys. This spreadsheet exists right here. It houses all of our vendor partners that are partnered with Keller Williams Ballantyne. It organizes them by their industry. So it makes it really easy for you guys to get a multitude of quotes from different vendors, all within that industry. And then you guys can also see our specific point of contact from that company, how you can connect with them. And then if you scroll a little bit further over, you'll also see information regarding the services they offer and any websites that may be associated with them. So again, it just makes it really easy for those moments when maybe you don't already have a connection made, that you guys can get access to someone you can trust right away. The other thing I always mention, if you'll notice, for example, under garage door, we don't have any vendor partners. It is not, we're not interested in garage door companies. If you have suggestions, we would love to have them. Right now, we just have garage door associated or affiliated with our vendor program. But as you guys have these connections or make these connections and find that you worked with someone really reliable, trustworthy, that you think could benefit from being part of our vendor program, let us know. It's a really easy conversation to have, kind of prompted with something they'd be interested in learning more about. If the answer is yes, it's a simple connection via email with Kyrie Smith, who is overseeing our vendor program. And I don't believe that he has business cards up at the front just yet, but he will be getting business cards right there at the front desk. So really easy, just grab their business card, make the connection via email to Kyrie and this vendor partner. Kyrie will organize a meeting with them, and then they will go over all the details of the program so that you don't have to do any of that heavy lifting yourself. If it's a mutually beneficial relationship and opportunity, that vendor will sign up, and then I will start sending them all the opportunities that they have to get in front of our agents. So tons of great things to be said there with our vendor program. Please let us know if you ever have a connection you've made that you would like for us to be aware of, because we would love to make sure that our vendor program is the best tool for our. Coming back to the more tab here, we've discussed now many of these. Outfront Magazine, just as a talking piece, again, very similar to that hot topic section we just looked for or looked at. If you guys are struggling to come up with original content to share on social media, Outfront Magazine does something very similar in terms of making your life easier. They actually publish every single month. They give a calendar overview of a suggestion of a media post for every single day. So if January 2nd, I don't know what I want to post on social media, all I have to do is I can refer to Outfront Magazine, see what they had teed up and templated for January 2nd, copy and paste it on over, or maybe kind of spruce it up a little bit with some original idea, and then throw it onto my Facebook page. And then boom, I've just done my post for the day. I don't have to think twice about it. It was a really simple process based off the suggestion outlined by Outfront. Below that is have the real estate education. If you click on that option, I like to point it out because it kind of culminates all of our codes into one convenient location. By clicking on access code for CE Shop, it takes you back to our dual branded website that we already looked at, and it allows you to take advantage of the fluctuating code that they're offering. On the right-hand side, you see 3 tiles dedicated to Superior School of Real Estate. Those 3 tiles all focus on different education courses. This is pre-licensing, this one is post-licensing, and this is going to be continuing education. So pay attention, obviously, to which code you are clicking on. But with Superior School of Real Estate, you can attend Zoom classes or physical in-person trainings for real estate education. And those are offered at 30% off to you guys forever. Those are an indefinite 30% off. That does not change. So not only are these discounts you can take advantage of for yourself and your continuing education or your post-licensing, but if you guys ever meet somebody that's interested in real estate that's not yet already taking classes or things of that nature, you can share these codes with them as well. And that way they can take advantage of getting off to a great start in real estate. And the really wonderful thing too is that there is no requirement for that particular agent to join Keller Williams Valentine after having used the code. So this is a way simply for you to help somebody else out and make them smile getting into real estate for the first time. So please do share the code, use the code yourself, and take advantage of the opportunities that are offered through it. And then that covers actually everything else there on the More tab. The last thing I point out is the I Need Tech Help button, and that is something we've already looked at together. By clicking on I Need Tech Help, this is going to take you to our tech coordinators, Jules and Leah's calendar, and this will allow you to book a one-on-one appointment with them for free. So you guys can schedule a half-hour appointment to discuss anything related to your KW technology that you would like, whether it is learning something new for the first time, going over some questions, troubleshooting. They are here to help you. They can teach you everything to do with your KW technology that you can then implement yourselves for free. Or if you get to the point of growth in your business where you just don't necessarily have the time to spend on social media, or maybe it's just not your favorite to intricate or challenging, and I would love that to not be a nuisance in my life. You guys can leverage those tasks. Jules and Leah as well. They offer concierge marketing services to assist you in a lot of ways. So know that this is where you can start to have those conversations with them, whether it's learning things for free to implement on your own, or whether it is discussing bigger conversations about leveraging. You guys can find their availability right here. Select the best 30-minute meeting time for you, and then you can specify who you are. If you'd prefer to meet face to face, or if this meeting needs to be held remotely, tell them everything you'd like to discuss in that meeting and schedule the event. Once it's been scheduled, it drops directly on their calendar. They can see everything you'd like to talk about, and they can prepare ahead of time for that conversation so that as soon as you guys meet, rubber meets the road and no time is wasted. The only other thing I tend to mention when reviewing their calendar here is you'll notice that Jules and Leah are available Tuesday through Friday from 12:30 to 2 o'clock for these one-on-one appointments. That limits them, of course, to about 3 appointments in that time frame. So that first half hour, though, 12 to 12:30, they are in the hub, which is right outside of this door. They are in the hub out there offering open tech hours. So if you do not have a 30-minute appointment booked with them, but something came up last night, something was a little funny in my opportunity, and I just ask a quick question, or oh my gosh, I'd love to try this for the first time. Let me go talk to Jules and Leah. Stop by our office from 12 to 12:30, Tuesday through Friday. Stop right there in the hub. You will see Jules or Leah out there, maybe even both of them, helping other agents with simple, quick questions just like that. So feel free to take advantage of that opportunity as well. They are here to assist you, and you can bring your laptop right in, sit down at the table with them, and get some assistance that way. So these are usually the pieces of information I like to share with you as part of this conversation today in terms of outlining where to find a lot of this helpful. There's typically one other piece that I will share with you as part of this conversation, but we have already gone over. So out of respect for your time, I'm not going to make you sit through a little bit more today. What I am going to do a little video of the next thing I was going to share with you for today. And I usually will send that to you guys via email if we don't have time for it. The only reason is technically it's a whole other anyways, it's not KWB resources. So I'll make sure I email you that recording so that you have access to it and can refer to it at any point in time. But in that recording, I'll be sharing with you how you can do an email blast to everyone in the office so that minimal effort result, in one communication effort, you've reached 570 people. So I'll make sure that you have that information sent to you via email this afternoon. But before, of course, we kind of wrap things up and I let you go, are there any questions that you have on this site that we've looked at that you did not already get a chance to ask? You're good. All right. Well, that makes me feel pretty good. That means I didn't lose you entirely. So that's great. I know that it is a lot to take in. So my best recommendation for anybody that's new to KW Valentine, after sitting through this class, is take it all in. When you go home, the next time you visit this site, see if you can recall where we went to access this information. Challenge yourself by clicking through each of the tabs and reminding yourself where this information lives. If that's not quite clear, if you're missing out on a key detail of where to find something you are looking for, know that there will be a recording of today's session that can be uploaded to our YouTube channel. So you can go back and actually rewatch this exact training. The really neat thing about YouTube is you can slow down the speech on it. So if I went too fast at any point, you can slow me down. So it's a little bit easier to comprehend. Whatever that may look like, I think the best method of retaining this information is just going back through it at your leisure. And then, of course, asking questions along the way. If there's ever a time that you cannot recall where to find something, or just a question comes up based off of what you learned today, shoot me an email, stop by my office, or give me a call. I am more than happy to walk you guys through any of this information at any point in time, because we are so excited to have you part of our family. We are so excited to see where real estate takes you, especially in this first year. Yes, sir. Mhm. So if you went to it, the Facebook page, so if I click on it, I don't know if I'm still logged in. So I'm not logged in, but you should be able to see that at the top of the page, it'll tell you, this is kind of our header image. When you want to join it, you can hit join group. It's going to want me to log in. But once I'm logged into my Facebook, if I hit join group, going to ask me a couple questions. The first is, are you an agent at Keller Williams Valentine? You would say yes. And then it says, if not, are you an admin for an agent at Keller Williams Valentine? You can say no. And then the last question is, if so, who is the agent? You can say NA. All you have to do is basically tell me you're an agent. I will recognize your name though, of course. So once you've submitted this request to join the group, I will be able to see the request. I can approve you, but you'll be able to basically have a private group on your Facebook that you have access to, and it's just the leadership team and the other agents in this office communicating on a daily basis. So very, very helpful. What office staying up to date on connections, and then making connections and collaborative efforts with other agents. Similarly, there's that vendor Facebook group as well that we talked about. It's going to be very, very similar. Just add vendors into the mix on top of that. And then you'll have a couple questions that you can answer as well to join a particular group. But all of that information is available to you right there on the website for your leisure. And then if you have any difficulties finding these pages again, just shoot me an email and I'll send you the links so that you can to them. Any other questions though, based off what we looked at? Awesome. Awesome. Well, great. Thank you so much for being here with me today, especially obviously being so close